it's David here. I want to thank you for watching this section of the video. So the topic today is we're going to look at another check I received, and I'm going to talk about what am I making more at, real estate or surplus funds, and which is the better one to get into. But do me a favor, before I get there and I talk about what just happened, if you've not subscribed to my channel, come on, what are you waiting for? I talk about surplus funds. I show how I got deals. I talk about the deals. I do occasional live cold calls. I give away stuff all the time. I haven't done that in a while, so I need to do that in a while and have some lucky winners here. So subscribe, click the notification link. That way you know, and I could give something away and you might be able to be on part of my channel. And it could be a free course. It could be just surplus fund gear or something like that. Could be a one-on-one coaching with me. So, okay, so anyway, I got this yesterday. I picked this up. So it's got JD Vista on the cover. It's a folder. And in the folder is a check, which you know me, I absolutely love checks. And this check is for, and this one, there's actually more funds on here, but this check is for $16,860.11, okay? And you can see right there. Now, the total profit, so this is from a house that I flipped, and I showed you guys a lot of videos on this. This is the white house that I had. It was really a cool story. The guy up the street came up, older guy, knocked on my door. He's president of the church, and he said, hey, we need to sell this house. We're consolidating, and this has been more of a financial burden on the church than we can bear right now. We're having a silent auction. And what I did to get this house is I looked at it. So I did get some insight knowledge that there was a bid under $100,000, and the house as is, they had an appraisal as is for $82,000. And when we looked at it, we decided we could do a couple things to the house to bring it up to $170,000. So we went ahead and I put a bid in for 106. I figured someone was going to come in over 100. I don't know if that happened or not, but I figured I would just go over that 105 mark because I figured 105 would probably be the number to beat. So I came in at the 105 mark, and we were all in with rehab and everything. We're all in at 114,000. There wasn't, actually probably more like 115. There wasn't a lot of rehab that needed to be done at this house, but there was a couple major things that needed to happen. The biggest thing that we did to increase value on this property was there was a back room that was a closet. There was a back space in the house that was like a office, and there was down the hall there was a closet in the very back. We actually walled up that closet in the hallway and made it accessible from the bedroom, which made it a 3-1 versus a 2-1. When we did that, we upped the value quite significantly on the property. However, problems that you have with properties on this one, and one of the problems that we did have is we were expecting about a 165 to 170 appraisal. We got the appraisal at 150,000. How did I get my numbers wrong? Well, in the county, the square footage that they had registered was 1,400, which I'm like, okay, wow, and I believed it. The actual square footage of the house was just under 1,100. So it was 3-1, just under 1,100 square feet. So that right there was roughly about 400 square feet that we had accounted for that we did not have in the property. So that right there brought down the square footage significantly. However, our numbers, and it was such a good deal on the numbers that I had, we still walked off with a 12-week, $24,000 profit on the property, right around 24, give or take a few $100 profit. We actually made a 20.1% return on investment within 12 weeks. Really good numbers. Okay, really extremely good numbers. And you're playing politics. However, we came in at cash at 106. We came in with the full rehab in cash. We had to pay the contractors and all that in cash, which is part of the rehab. So we were all in cash at about 115, 116,000. Right around those numbers, we're all in cash. A lot of cash to put out. Hard money loans, okay, you put 20% down, plus you put out rehab or whatever, you're still in it for $30,000, $40,000. That is a lot of cash to be putting out on the property. Now this one, we had purchased all cash. We didn't have any loans, anything like that on the property. We put liens on it as we put money in. And what I showed you on this was a check to my corporation. Part of that was rehab, part of it was profit going to my corporation. Like I said, there was 24,000, give or take, total profit on this property. Now, let's look at my surplus funds business. This week, it's Thursday. I've gotten one contract. I've got one notary signing a deal for $24,000. I have another deal in the pipeline right now where the guy's in China and they're under total lockdown. He is working with me, or his son's working with me. We're trying to be able to figure out how to get this guy to be able to sign That one, I actually found it was a $24,000 deal. However, I found another $24,000 deal, another $3,000 deal. But secure this week, I've made roughly about $2,500, which is kind of a low week for me on secure contracts. Now, I have, going back to the China deal, and I have another deal for over $150,000, which will be a $15,000 return on investment, a $15,000 payout for JD Vista. I'm making money minimum $2,500 a week. I have more coals in the fire than just the notary that's going out today that is scheduled. Where I'm going with this is I am making roughly about $10K a month in my surplus fund business. You take that times 3 months, you get $30,000, 12 weeks. You take what I did in the real estate deal, and you have a $24,000 profit. Now again, if the square footage had been there, we probably would have made an additional $20,000. It would have been huge. It would have been about a $44,000 profit. And that's what we were counting on with the property. Was it disappointing? 100%. I mean, when you're looking at numbers and you think, okay, I've got this and it's a slam dunk, 100% was disappointing. However, how many people go in with and make a 20% simple return on investment within a 12-week period? It doesn't happen that often. I mean, I've done it with Bitcoin. I've actually done much better than that with Bitcoin and some of the other investments out there, but it's not typical to be able to do that. Now with surplus fund and what I've noticed that I've been able to do here, because I get asked this all the time, what about your property investing? You seem to still do it. Well, it's interesting because I've got one property now that's in escrow I'm selling, and after that I'll have no properties. This property that I'm selling in escrow is a ton of headaches. It's another video. I think we're going to make money on it, but we had a really bad appraisal on it. Even the buyer's agent came back and has challenged the appraisal. Well, she came back for her clients at first, and she's like, okay, you could come down here and I'll do this. I'm like, absolutely not. I go, and she didn't take me seriously, until they called me the next day. And I just said, oh, please send me a cancellation. I'm going to rent it out. Once she saw that, she's now gone ahead and challenged the appraisal and has said, yeah, I agree with you. This is way off, and it's way, way off. And these are politics that you put up with when you flip properties. And it's a little bit better than this White House, and my numbers will be much better. But you deal with these kind of headaches. I'll do a whole nother video on that. I don't want to get into that. But what I'm going with is, how many properties do I have right now? I have this one, and I'm not out there calling people saying, hey, do you want to sell your property? I'm not even chasing properties. Properties have chased me, because when you do flips, people see it like the guy with the church up the street, or the president of the church up the street. He came and knocked on my door and just said, hey, we've got this property. I know you flip. I'm not trying to hustle you into anything. This may be a good deal for you. Look at the numbers and see. Same thing with the other property. An agent came and knocked on my door, the agent that sold me the house I'm in now, and she said, hey, I know you flip. I think there are really good numbers here. We looked at the numbers, and they were really good. So I have properties coming to me. Now, with surplus funds, I can take money that I'm getting and I can invest it in properties. And I could definitely, and I have a project manager, so I'm down on my properties minimal. I mean, I did some work. I picked up some things in my truck for the house. I did regular videos. If you want, go back and look at my YouTube channel. You'll definitely see that. So I definitely was active, but probably about, maybe on average, maybe a couple hours a week, if even that, because I've got a full-time company to run. I've got also a surplus fund business to run. So I'm pretty busy. The last thing I have to do is be going and chasing properties. Where is someone who wants to start off? So a lot of people say, I want to make like the $24,000 that just got made on this property. A lot of people said, yeah, if I could just make that. Well, if you do a surplus fund business and you start off with your first deal, and you start off very small, and you almost work for free, and you do a $500 to $1,000 deal, a payout, very, very small, and you realize, okay, wow, I can do this. And not a lot of people are chasing the smaller deals, and you say to yourself, okay, I can do this. And then you build up, like a lot of the checks that I've shown, and I haven't shown you every single deal that's come by my office, but if I'm averaging $2,500 a week, let's go to $2,000 a week. That'd be $104,000 a year I'd be making in my surplus fund business, plus the $500, because I'm doing about $2,500. So $500, that'd be another $6,000. That's what is that, like $110,000 if I've done my math correctly, that I'm doing in my surplus fund business. So I'm bringing this in, and those are the numbers that I'm doing a year. That's definitely enough to be able to support the average American, help them get off their off of their job or quit their job, help them to be able to start working for themselves. Now, you have to treat this business like a business, like $1 million business. I see people get into this sometimes and they start getting paid and they start doing really well. Then they get laxed, and then it's like you have to constantly go out and you have to hunt, and you're hunting each and every single day, and bringing in deals. I have a VA that works for me that's pretty decent. I have someone else that assists me in getting deals and getting the contracts finalized and in. So those are things that I do within my business that help me to be able to bring deals in within my business. So I work with other people to help my business be successful. It's automated so that I'm putting minimal time in it, because Surplus Fund, we've got a great company. We've been really blessed, and it's been awesome to see how many people have come in and have been successful. So tips on starting: start off small, look at about 4 or 5 different areas. Like I always tell you, it could be certain states. Like I just got a deal in Nevada last week, and I was playing around with funds actually. And that's a whole nother video too. That the guy had been trying me. We played phone tag for probably 6 to 8 weeks. $21,000. It is so cool. I wish I had had this recording. This is where you love this business. It's very rewarding. When I was on the phone with the guy and he told me I had the wrong, he said, well, there's a few people with this name, very distinctive name in Nevada. And he goes, I don't think it's me. I would know about this. And it was a life insurance. Both of his parents are deceased. It's a life insurance policy that belonged to his grandmother. When I said the address, the guy's words, and I quote unquote, he said, oh my God, I remember going to that address when I was a kid. And he almost started crying. I mean, it makes the hair on my arms just stand up when I repeat this. He's just, oh my God, I used to go there and I used to play as a kid. And the guy just got really emotional. He's like, what do we need to do? And I went over, I'm not going to ask you for any money. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm going to get you paid. And it's so cool. And this came from one of my Monday live cold calls several weeks ago. I constantly get deals. I have teams that get deals. This business does work. Now, you think about people that have been successful in business, it takes them a while. Like Spencer and I, when we first started the company of Surplus Fund, okay, we did 19 webinars before we had our first sale. And we were doing these on my kitchen table. My wife to this day says, I can't believe that he did this, that you started this on our kitchen table. I mean, it's been incredible. I don't even have that kitchen table anymore. I should have kept that and had that like hung up in my office. So I'm kidding. But you know, we did 19 webinars and we looked at our market. We were getting feedback. We were looking at who was coming. We tweaked it and we constantly made adjustments. And then Spencer did a webinar and we had 2 sales, and then we kept on going on from there. It was absolutely incredible. You've got to start off small. You've got to work your market. You've got to constantly reevaluate what are you doing wrong. I mean, it's not like you're going to go in and just get something right the very first single time you do it. And for me, I know that when I really wanted to accomplish things in my life, like surfing, you guys all see my videos, the intro to this, you see me jump up on a surfboard. I love it. When I learned how to surf, it took me about half a dozen times ago when I was about 30, and I kept on falling. I couldn't get up on the board. I literally took my board, and one day I played in the white water and I kept on jumping up on my board with the momentum of the wave going and jumping up on my board, and I started riding and I loved it. But it took me, I kept on falling, I'd get back up, I'd fall, I'd get back up, and I eventually started riding. And then later on, I was out at Seal Beach one day catching waves and riding them. And this guy came up next to me and he just said, dude, your surfing sucks. Let me tell you why. And literally this guy said that to me. This guy was a surf school instructor who gave me a whole bunch of knowledge on how my stance should be, and he said I created a well out in the ocean because I was then cutting, and I mean, it was awesome. And it took me a while to learn. If you're going to do this business, it's going to take you a while to learn the business. It's not like you're going to make one phone call, everyone's going to say fine and dandy. I mean, I've been cussed out. I make over $100,000 a year in my business. I can handle being cussed out. I can handle being told off, okay? But it's constantly going. The last cool thing I'm going to say about what I showed you yesterday, and then I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you if you've been watching this whole video. I feel like I've been rambling on here. So the last thing is the house that cleared. The agent Christian asked for a picture. Noah was with me. It is so cool. I hope you guys could see that okay. It is so cool when you're doing business and your kid gets to see how you're doing business. So Noah, he went with me yesterday to the title company to be able to sign the papers, and he went back with me in the afternoon to pick up that one check. there's some additional funds. Like I said, I broke them up for various purposes, to pay corporation stuff back. Then he got to sit at the closing table. He got to see me sign. He got to hear numbers. He got to see me get a couple people on the phone because actually title had the numbers wrong, and I pointed out to them, and they're like, "Oh, we need to fix this," which was kind of funny. And he gets to see his dad in business. And as a dad, there's no greater reward for me than watching my son. I mean, teaching the ways of life, guiding him, directing him, and him getting to watch this business. Because one day I want him to be able to be successful in whatever business he chooses to go in. And it's my job to guide and facilitate that with him. For him to be watching the realtor coming in, shaking my hand, thanking me. He had asked for that list, and I agreed to give it to him. The title company, all that, and then we went out to the UPS store, and we actually got held up in time where I actually just said, "Hey, buddy, let's go get lunch." He's like, "All right, Dad," and we went out and we got to have lunch, and then we picked his brother up from school. And it's nice when you have the freedom in your schedule to be able to do those couple of things and be able to show him like how business works, taking it serious, people coming up, wanting to do business with me. I'm actually trying to guide him into how to be a future businessman. But let's get back into this. If you really want to develop a surplus fund business, so a lot of people say, I want to eventually invest in real estate. And by all means, there's plenty of investments I've done in. I've invested in real estate, as you've seen. I've shown you the houses. I've shown you a check. I do surplus funds, which that is a consistent income for me. It's pretty nice. I've got many more checks on the way, both tax and state funds, tens of thousands of dollars on their way to me. I have Bitcoin that I've done. I've done some investing in silver, things like that. So I've talked about some of those in my past YouTube videos. But if you want a consistent income, surplus funds is a great way to get involved. Find a market. Like I said, surfing, get out there and try to do it. Fall, get back up, fall, get back up. And eventually you're going to realize that you're riding the most incredible wave of your life and you love it. And it's something where you look at the property I just compared to, you're not paying $115,000 to be able to get in your foot in the door. I mean, you might be out a couple $100 with the notary cost. And as you start coming in and you start making money and it's consistent. And most people that I know that are successful with surplus funds started off on their kitchen table or in their bedroom or somewhere, and they were calling people, and then they worked their way up to be able to automate their business to get it more successful. Then you get to the point where you can invest in other projects and other things. Hey everyone, I want to thank you for listening to this video. I know it's kind of a long one here, but I think I said a lot of good stuff in here. Do me a favor, again, if you've not subscribed, come on, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the link below. Click the notification link. I'd love for you to be one of my lucky winners. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.